So, Graham and I just got back from the new Ghostbusters movie, and we are filming in his basement, so I apologize in advance if I start getting wheezy or sneezy because he's got cats.
Uh-huh. I just thought that's how you normally work.
So, right off the bat, spoiler-free reactions. In my mind, it is okay. And I think it's definitely worth a rental. I don't know if it's worth paying for to see in theaters.
We didn't.
We lucked out and got a free pass from our local comic book store.
Yep, we got free, our local comic book store in association with, I don't know, some of the theater company or the production company. So we got free passes to see an early screener today.
This is creepy with the lighting. It looks like I have like dark holes where my eyes should be. Anyway, yeah, we got the free screenings.
Yeah, I
don't know. I don't. Some of Graham's complaints are very different from mine, but you know, some of them are the same. But there were funny things in it. There were some good quality. There were some good quality things, and I always forget her name. Blonde lady, goggles.
Holtzman was the character's name.
Holtzman is a delight and steals every scene.
Yeah, now I gotta figure out what that actress's name is because she's from SNL. We have a cat on us.
Cat's gonna steal the show. Everyone's just gonna comment on the cat.
This is Merle.
Why can't we have more cats in this movie? Ghost cat. Merle wants to know the actress's name too. She was a delight. The best part of the movie, bar none. Always funny, always entertaining. Just kind of weird.
Yeah, she was a very funny weird. She was always very weird.
I like the fact that none of the characters are carbon copies of the originals. They are very much their own unique personalities and unique things going for them. I'm still very disappointed that this is a reboot as opposed to just a franchise of the Ghostbusters.
I think it's Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon, yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
So obviously CGI ghosts. That's still lame. It was lame in the trailer. It was lame here. But some of the designs of them were okay.
It was some of it was okay. It was definitely felt like I was those CG scenes felt very much like I was watching the Scooby-Doo movies.
There were a few shots that were clearly pandered for 3D.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which fortunately this was not 3D.
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was still bad.
But
it wasn't Batman vs Superman bad.
Yeah, but this was not joyless. This got some laughs out of us. I think it was okay. I don't think it's anything spectacular. I'm glad it exists because I know.
No, because I want a real Ghostbusters 3. I want a passing of the torch.
I really wish it was a proper passing of the torch. Although having one spoiler. Basically, all the surviving cast of Ghostbusters makes an appearance, and
the exception of Rick Moranis.
With the exception of Rick Moranis, which we're not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's just retired.
Yeah.
But all their scenes were cute and funny, and I liked them.
I thought some of them were too short.
Then again, part of the problem is also that I don't. While I like Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2 more, I don't consider them some kind of sacred cow movie.
I do.
That helped shape my childhood, or something like that.
Point the camera out.
Oh yeah, you can't see it, but there's. Okay, you're gonna make me do this.
I'm a Ghostbusters fan.
I'm a Ghostbusters fan, but in terms of in the grand scheme of things, if this movie was like the absolute dreck of the world, it would not. I mean, anyone who says that this movie ruined their childhoods, you really must have really sad adult lives.
I don't think this movie deserves as much hate, but I definitely understand why some people would be completely turned off by the trailers.
Oh yeah,
the trailers were bad.
Yeah, they were.
I'm not sure they could have been any better, because I can understand this. I mean, this is not as good as the originals by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
It's not. It's kind of meh. I mean, like I said, I don't want to. Bad. It was bad, but it wasn't like Transformers 3 bad. I mean,
yeah, this is not like this feels like a standard cash-in nostalgic grab. It clearly knew the original. It clearly respected the original, but it was not going to, but it tried to do its own thing, and some of the things were good and some of the things were bad.
Yeah. There's one of the things that I'm very upset with how this movie had done and was the reaction to all of the dislike from the trailers and like the James Rolfe video and their reaction to it, which was very much to make it about this whole make everybody who didn't want to see this movie anti women and not pro feminism and make it so you just don't think women can be Ghostbusters and bitches ain't busting ghosts, I think was the line in the there's a scene in the movie where they literally read YouTube comments and it's like there's some joke like that and I felt like they kind of missed why people didn't want to see this. And I felt like to demonize James Rolfe and to demonize people who were upset about this and didn't like the trailers was wrong. I feel like one of the other things they did too was they doubled down on girl power. I mean, after. They made fun of Rolfe and he's a guy in his parents' basement. He never had a girlfriend.
They insulted both. He didn't mention women at all during his video.
Yeah,
but the thing is, and then they started making insults towards his wife and daughter, which was
not cool. And they got Patton Oswalt involved and Dane Cook, and I thought that was kind of bullshitty. And I really feel like, and I mean, I saw, when they got everybody on Jimmy Kimmel and they brought this up again about it's just people in there, people leaving comments in the middle of the night in their mom's basement. And it's like, okay, but no, you're not understanding. The jokes didn't seem particularly funny. Some of it seemed really stupid and slapsticky.
And to be fair, I have seen actual legitimate sexist remarks being made about this movie,
and that's fine. But it wasn't from Rolfe. It wasn't from and that's fine. But I feel like they demonized all the criticism. They tried to lump it all in. And like I said, the other thing is they doubled down on girl power, which was they did that whole Ghostbusters with the crew, and it was a lot of women. They did this whole.
Oh my God! Are you really going to bring that up? Oh my God! They're proud that this had a lot of women working on it.
No, hold on a second. Okay, you are, but
of
okay.
all that. Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. I have a general thesis here, and you know it, and you disagree with it. That's fine. But again, I feel like that was their big thing was to play the. You don't like women, but then this movie does a really good job of demonizing men. You disagree, but I think you agreed with my point that I made earlier when we were coming home, which was there is not a single male character in this movie that's intelligent.
Yes, there are.
No,
there are intelligent male characters.
Oh, sorry. And if they are intelligent, they're assholes.
Not always.
Who?
Again, we talked about this in the car. The owner of the guy who owned the mansion, he read the book and enjoyed it.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean,
the guy who was running the tour guide, I actually kind of liked his clever little, weird ghost trick he did in the
knock on the kennel.
Yeah, knock over the kennel. And I know what you mean. I disagree with it especially because there are so many movies where all the female characters are dumb or stupid or evil.
So okay, but hold on a second. So those two characters, the two from the haunted mansion in the beginning, both of them are scared, are useless characters. They're plot points. They're plot, moving the plot, and also they are weak characters. They're wimpy. I mean, so I'll recategorize: wimpy, stupid, or asshole. There's no strong male character at all in here. The only strong male character at all.
So let me turn this around.
Is Chris Hemsworth's character. And he's an asshole and an idiot.
No. Well, I don't think he's an asshole. I just think he's a complete moron.
Well, but then when he gets possessed, he's an asshole.
Well, that's because he's possessed by the asshole. By the asshole. Sure.
And Hemsworth steals the show too. I mean, he is very funny. He is goofy. He's Thor. I mean.
Well, he's Thor, who's even dumber because even Thor figured stuff out. Which explains why an attractive white guy can't find a job in New York. It's that he's utterly, utterly, utterly stupid.
Yes. I
honestly
so,
don't. I see where you think that. I don't agree at all. And frankly, I've seen movies like this before where it doesn't.
Sure.
And I think you make it more about gender politics than.
Well, but I think they brought gender politics into it way early. They demonized critics for it and bringing the gender politics into it, and they brought it in early. And then this movie, I think, treats men like crap. And I would also say the final blow to how the Ghostbusters defeat the final bad guy is they shoot their proton streams at the ghost's dick. They shoot it in the balls.
They never have nut shots in any other comedy movies.
But Lewis, it's part of a general theme. I agree. There are nut shots in all sorts of movies. And we can also talk about how the fact that also this movie tries to appeal to the lowest common denominator.
I will give you that one. Anyway, we're talking about nut shots.
There have been nut shots in other movies, Lewis. But I'm saying in this movie is how they defeated the big bad with a nut shot. And given the fact that they brought gender politics very early on into this conversation, it fits a theme. You can disagree. You can agree. You can agree that you agree with me that it's lowbrow humor.
I'm really worried about the comments of this video. This is going to be fun.
Your problem, not mine. You can honestly agree or disagree. I think we
can have a discussion about it without devolving into
no.
vitriol.
And I thought it was stupid. And I thought there's a lot of things where it's I felt like they could have done better, and maybe some of that was editing too.
Yeah, let's move into the spoiler territory.
Here. We're doing that already?
No, we very light spoilers. Let's move into actual spoilers for things. Especially let's start on a positive note. The things we liked about it. Obviously, Kate McKinnon stole the show. Best of the best.
I knew very early on I was going to like her.
I figured as much, but
I like her because she's weird, she's quirky.
I worried that she was going to go, that much like the rest of this movie, it was going to go into excess. But fortunately it did not.
She was a little excess sometimes.
A little, but she's just smiling and laughing and having such a good time. She does not care, but she's enjoying herself and I'm going to make that pipe into a shotgun.
Yeah, I thought that was she was fine.
Let's see. One of the things that we like.
I like Hemsworth.
I liked Hemsworth because he was occasionally funny. Other times I don't like stupid characters in movies, but this is a comedy. I liked the final villain form.
Yep.
Being the Ghostbusters logo come to life. I love that.
I thought the only problem with that was they did the whole choose the form of your destroyer. Yeah,
but instead of making it overly dramatic, they make it a different sort of thing. Like what sort of form would you like me to be in? And I like the fact they didn't immediately go something that could be misinterpreted. It was I just want something cute and cuddly small so we can shoot it.
Well, the first comment Holtzman made, which was preferably something that doesn't move.
A bullseye would be nice.
A bullseye. Yeah, I thought that was actually a better...
And you know what I thought was going to happen? Chris Hemsworth, while he's unconscious, he says ice cream. I thought that they were going to do something similar to Mr. Stay Puft. They would have him be made of ice cream or something, which they didn't do, so... Again, there's some real. I think there are some problems with the writing here in terms of the narrative structure because it feels like that they were definitely feels like there's a lot that was cut out or deleted from the movie.
Well, there's some goofiness that was clearly cut out too because they do this. There's this dance scene thing with Hemsworth and the
military when he's possessed and he makes the assembled army and police officers just go into a single dance pose. I thought he was originally going to do that, but instead they just saved it for the credits, and thank God they did. The big problem with this movie, at least for me, is the excess. I don't think... I disagree with you in terms of the original movie being cerebral in terms of its jokes. I will say it was...
Clever. The original movie was certainly more clever and more quotable. Better dialogue. Certainly better dialogue.
Really the thing... I think it's more... the word is actually more deadpan. It's much better. It was much better at deadpan humor. This is the big problem with this movie is it's a modern comedy, and modern comedies love just keep going, and my God, we were supposed to talk about talking positive.
Yeah, there's dick jokes, there's fart jokes,
which there were those in the original. Not less fart jokes, but definitely lowbrow humor in the original too.
Sure, but
in this one, it's all about babbling. My God, these characters babble, especially Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. They just babble on, and they think it's funny, and it's not.
There's a lot of slapsticky Scooby-Doo humor that I thought was also really bad. The test of the proton
where
she's the first time
she's zipping around everywhere.
She becomes like a deflated balloon.
That was very backwards.
And it was really stupid.
And it's unnecessary.
There was also there's also an early prototype proton thing, which was kind of funny, but it was also kind of stupid.
It was also ruined in a trailer. That's the problem. Some of the jokes that we would have gotten a big laugh at were ruined in the trailer, and in the trailer they were surrounded by really bad jokes. So it kind of took the flame out of them.
Yeah.
I like the technology they have. That's another positive. The various new weapons they designed.
There's a lot of more prototyping and a lot more scrapped together and kind of evolving.
They actually test their weapons as opposed to the original.
There's a little bit of the testing jokes, which is kind of fun. The repeat joke with the Chinese food, I thought was stupid.
Yeah.
Like there's this constant thing where they can't get the Chinese order right.
Like it's a wonton and hot dog water.
Yeah, and it got kind of it was stupid. It was a repeat joke, and I thought it was dumb.
It's again that babbling because she's just babbling about it, and hello.
Well, there's even a thing where they call back to it where she where they're confronting the main bad guy before he gets ghostified, and
soup.
She talks about how there's plenty to live for, and then she starts talking about soup, and it's like, really? We're gonna get back to the soup. The soup that's been the joke, like this running gag. That's a really bad running gag.
I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize that was a connection to that.
Well, yeah, like it's a really stupid running gag. There's also, we were talking about this earlier before we started filming. There's this feeling that Kristen Wiig's character and Melissa McCarthy's character had a falling out, which you kind of have seen in the trailers. You
see that in the very beginning.
So they had a falling out. The ghosts are what bring them back together because of this book that they wrote together a long time ago, and the fact that they finally see a ghost together, and it's their version of the Grey Lady. It's this murderous woman who
was locked.
Who looks like this beautiful woman who then turns. You've seen it in the trailer,
actually I like
morphs and does and just vomits slime on Kristen Wiig.
I like the horror stories in this. I mean, for a horror comedy, it leans much more on the comedy than the horror. The original did much better with the horror stuff, but the horror stories they actually have in it are good. I like the idea, like the guy locks her in the basement and only feeds her through a small thing, and they never found her body, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, they tell a ghost story.
Yeah, and it's a really good ghost story. I like it.
So,
But
no, where I was going with that is there's this character development between them.
Yeah.
That they have this falling out. They get back together with and then Kristen Wiig's character gets discredited, and then they form the Ghostbusters, and they're evolving, and then there's this ending where when they confront the
a bunch of ghost parade balloons where they're separated from each other.
The male antagonist, the bad guy. No. They confront this male antagonist bad guy. Who they realize he's this antisocial. That's the other thing. The male character is quite literally the epitome of the YouTube nerd.
I don't think he was the epitome of the YouTube nerd. I think he was honestly just a creepy weirdo.
He's a creepy weirdo
because he kept saying everyone put him down his entire life.
So
and there's a connection there. That's the thing. It feels like, they realize, our tech seems similar. It's because he read the book too.
Yep.
Like this kind of dark mirror kind of a thing where they wanted to use they didn't care that they had been put down all their lives. But he used that knowledge for evil, but they don't, but it feels like there's a falling out at some point because of that.
Yeah, it feels like there should be a falling out there. And actually I think it would have been better from the story perspective if we'd seen Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig have another falling out because of the book. Because the book is actually what is why they end up coming back. Why Kristen Wiig's character comes to see Melissa McCarthy.
She starts reading the book
because she's so upset about the book being released. And I thought it'd be great to call back to the book as something that builds some animosity between them, because you see them separated after that.
Yeah.
You don't realize that like there's no connection between, like, maybe they had a falling out,
or maybe she's just at home.
Yeah, like you don't. There's no connection. Like, I feel like they cut that out, and it would have made way more sense from a story perspective if they had a falling out and then they had to come back together and be friends at the very ending. Especially given the fact that the ending is they do the protonic reversal. They reverse the gateway and all the ghosts get sucked back in. It becomes a giant trap. But Melissa McCarthy gets pulled in, and Kristen Wiig jumps into the portal to go save her.
Yeah,
and it's much more. It would be much more heart-pounding.
Well, it would be much more of an arc if you're for their development. If there had been a second falling out, which there wasn't. It was just she was separate from the others. The others were doing their own thing, and then she came and saved them, which seems like it's supposed to be a big moment, but there was nothing in between there. In fact, I especially feel like there were some deleted scenes because it looks like the cops were arresting them for staging a stunt. Which No.
They said they were fake arresting them. They said it.
I know they were going to be fake arresting them, but if they thought that the situation was completely resolved, because they called up the National Guard and told them what was going on, and the Homeland Security, and said what was going on. That's another thing we'll get into in a bit here. Where they call them up and explain what the evil plan is, and they're going over to try to deal with them. It seems like, well, they've used up their purpose. Now we can get rid of them, that kind of a thing. And I thought what was going to happen was that they were going to get a really real arrested, to actually use them as legitimate scapegoats.
Kind of like they do in the original Ghostbusters movies, where they get arrested, thrown in the insane asylum, or thrown in jail. And
then because it wasn't actually resolved, though, they have to call them back in. And basically what I thought was going to happen was, we want the credit. Because it turns out the mayor and Homeland Security do know about the ghosts. They don't know how to fight them, but they claim they have everything in hands. And the mayor is more concerned about causing a panic. And Kristen Wiig compares him to the mayor from Jaws, which pisses him off.
That was funny.
And basically, since he cares more about that, he said, "We need you to stop because you're very high profile. We're trying to deal with this on the down low."
Yeah, that was. I mean, I get what they were doing with the cat's out of that was really stupid.
It's that babbling thing.
The cat's out of the bag. No, the cat's in. We put the cat back in the bag.
It's just babble.
No. The cat's been out of the bag before, and we put it back in the bag. And then it started with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, and then it became every character in the room except for Holtzman and Patty.
Yeah.
But all the other side characters, including the mayor, were in on the cat in the bag joke, and it was like, this is bad.
This is annoying.
Just kill this joke now, because it's really not funny. And it was like, I get what you're trying to do, but this is not funny.
If it was just that one time, one scene of babbling is fine. But they do it throughout the entire movie, and they are convinced that it's hilarious, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's just that fast pace. It's just them talking at a fast pace about nothing. It's I would call it Seinfeldian, except I don't even think that was I don't think even that was more about nothing.
Yeah.
It feels like there are moments where there are moments in the original Ghostbusters where they know when to pull back on the jokes. You can still have subtle things like that's a big Twinkie, but they're still serious about it.
There was no subtlety in this movie.
This and
if there was, it's the babbling. That's the closest thing to the subtle the subtle joke is the constant babbling of a joke.
Badass moments where they realize that it's time to get serious. We can tell some side jokes, but we need to actually get our heads together. It felt like there were several moments which were getting there, and then unnecessary joke like Kristen Wiig slipping on some slime when they're about to confront the main villain.
That was really dumb. And she's like, "Oh, I guess the slime's out to get me," or something like that.
Which I actually kind of laughed at that because she is the one who gets the majority of slime.
Yeah, it was interesting to make you're not supposed to be able to compare them directly to the original Ghostbusters. She's kind of the Venkman character a little bit.
Yeah, I mean you can obviously draw parallels between them, but they are their own characters.
Yeah, I mean they're their own characters, but clearly
Venkman was a shyster who was intelligent, but he did not believe in the
Sure,
paranormal
but
until he was actually confronted with it. She has a backstory involved in it, and she just knows that people will think she's crazy, so she wants her own. So she wants to keep that part of her life separately.
Venkman knew that the other two sounded crazy too sometimes, and so he could play normal.
He saw it as a con job, really, until he was actually confronted with supernatural, and he realized that this is a thing, and he could use it.
Sure, but he also was the only character who had kind of a romantic interest too, and with Sigourney Weaver's character, just like she has the romantic interest for.
Sort of.
Fortunately, they didn't do anything with the fact that she had a thing
for Chris Hemsworth with.
But they didn't do anything with it. Thank God.
I think the closest parallels we can have are Melissa McCarthy and Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
The two of them together are pretty close because they're both enthusiastic scientists.
Kind of the heart of the team, the heart of the Ghostbusters.
Who know what they're talking about.
Holtzman is Spengler.
She's Harold Ramis, except Harold Ramis was kind of the more dignified scientist, if you can consider I collect mold, spores, and fungus dignified, but in her case, she's quirky scientist, and I like that.
Yeah, and then Leslie Jones is the Winston of the group, which you and I both agree there's problems with that.
It really.
First off,
I really wish she had been a scientist.
I wish they would have cast a black scientist instead of making her the street smart subway worker character. I felt like. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna do the whole women Ghostbusters thing, but we're gonna make the only black character
not a scientist.
And they even make a line. There's even a line in about
we're scientists and Patty.
Yeah, and you're like, really? And then she also is the over the top black woman who yells at the theater. Who talks
angry? I think it's called the angry black woman stereotype.
Yeah, and you've seen it in the trailer probably the power of Christ. It's the power of Patty, but it always sounds like the power of Christ compelled. And she's slapping the possessed Melissa McCarthy. And then when Melissa McCarthy does the Exorcist head thing, she goes, "Oh hell no, get out of my friend!" I mean, and like, it's really over the top, and she's that way a lot in the movie. Not as bad as I thought she would be, but she is annoying that way.
I'm trying to remember any particular...
And I like her. Actually, I liked her a lot better than I thought I would. Like the one thing that she does is she's kind of this New York historian kind of thing, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. And
I'm glad they actually gave that to her character, because I thought otherwise she would have been really bad. But the fact that she knew things about... Yeah. Like,
she's also in the movie earlier than Winston was. Winston joins in like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, well, and the one nice thing about her, if we're gonna make the Winston parallel, is the fact that it wasn't, she was written in from the get-go versus,
originally it was going to be Eddie Murphy, but he was doing was it Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so they wrote out Winston and then decided to add him back in.
Yeah, and then kind of downplayed the role for Ernie Hudson, which is kind of a shame too, because he's and Ernie Hudson's in this movie. Actually, he's exactly who I thought he would be. He's Patty's uncle.
Yep.
Who gives them
the Hearsts.
Well, yeah.
Which, by the way, I liked the Hearsts Ecto 1.
Yeah, that was fine.
I like the fact that they one bit of nice subtle humor when they go to the firehouse first. What's the rent like this place? $21,000 a month. Go rot in hell.
That was as far as like that was like the most subtle joke in the movie, and it was funny because that was the deadpan joke. That was the one deadpan joke in the movie. Where she looks straight at the real estate person and says, "Rot in hell."
And they acknowledge it because the original Ghostbusters they get the small business loan or whatever from the bank.
19% interest rate.
Yeah. So in this case, they acknowledge they don't have that, and they probably wouldn't be able to. Considering they probably wouldn't be able to either. I don't know what it was like in the 80s to get that kind of loan. In this case, they probably would not be able to, and they would not. They sure as hell wouldn't be able to afford the firehouse in New York. So having them live above the Chinese.
There was certainly the one difference I will say is the motivation between ghostbusting. I mean, this new Ghostbusters, the answer to the call was not about creating a paranormal eliminators business.
Yeah, they were clear. It was
because they don't really have the Venkman character driving them to that. They really just want to be scientists. They want to investigate.
They're doing it purely for research purposes versus the original, where Venkman saw the potential of it as a money making scheme.
Yeah. That was not, so it was clear that they weren't making money and they weren't billing any. And one of the things actually I really liked about the original, because they ran out of money. So they ran out of money and then they got the call from the Sedgwick Hotel, and then they billed the Sedgwick Hotel $5,000. I
just have to point out the wonderful subtleties of the scene where Egon is giving subtle hints to Peter to raise the price for their equipment.
$1,000, $4,000, yes, and I love that. But that also is much better chemistry between the actors.
I think the chemistry between them was fine. It's just because they have different goals in the original. Some jokes like that are lost, and I don't mind it being different. I want it to be different. I don't want it to just be a rehash of everything we've done before.
but I felt like their chemistry could have been stronger. You know what?
I liked the mannequin ghost. That was nicely creepy. That was another positive. I mean, once it turned into the CGI dragon thing, it's not as scary. But I liked the idea of the mannequin.
It's an Auton.
It's an Auton, and it's creepy as hell. It's creepy as hell, and I like that. That's one of the better subtle horror bits, and they didn't try to make it last too long. Well, I wouldn't say subtle horror bits, but definitely a horror bit.
I don't know.
As a horror comedy, it's definitely more. It lends more on the comedy side than the horror side.
It's been said that it would have been better if they didn't make this a Ghostbusters movie. I don't know. It still felt like a Ghostbusters film to me. I'm not sure if I like the fact that it's a reboot.
I really wish it had been just another franchise of the Ghostbusters.
The one thing that also really kind of irked me too is they're about capturing ghosts in the beginning. The proton streams are. They establish that the proton streams are designed to capture to lasso them, tractor beam them or whatever, and then capture them in the trap. And they have a proto trap, and it's great. And then they do this big battle in the streets of Manhattan, like right in Times Square,
where they're dissipating the ghosts,
and turning them to slime, it's really weird.
I'm okay with it because I get the impression that if they wanted to, the original Ghostbusters could have developed technology to dissipate them, but that wasn't their intention, or at least that wasn't the original goal. Because how do you kill something that's dead? In this case, I think they're turning them into actual ectoplasm and turning them into slime. Because I saw a few bits where they're
deionizing them. I think there's some lineup. There's some throwaway about. But I just thought it was really weird.
I think because I think from a dramatic standpoint, because we're dealing with so many ghosts all at once. I mean, when both in Ghostbusters 1 and 2, when all hell started breaking loose, we didn't actually see the Ghostbusters trying to trap all the thousands of ghosts that were going around. They went straight to the source to try to deal with the big problem.
No, because what we got was a montage. We would get a montage.
We got a montage here. We don't know. We got a montage in the middle of Ghostbusters 2 of seeing them trapping multiple things. But I mean, when the containment unit was turned off, when when Vigo started making the slime go everywhere, and the Ghostbusters were put into the insane asylum, then everything went nuts. And both times when they then are brought to the mayor. In Ghostbusters 2 it was when they let him out again.
The one thing you got to admit probably about 1 and 2 is the fact that they're almost retellings themselves. They're very much set up identically.
One of the criticisms against Ghostbusters 2 is that it's pretty much just the original, just with some fine replace on the names and whatnot. Which, I think it did enough different things that I like it more.
I like them both.
Oh, I like them both.
As you pointed out, Ghostbusters 2 is way more quotable.
This was less quotable, but then again, we've only seen it once. We have the benefit of having seen Ghostbusters 1 and 2 for 30 years now, so...
I don't feel like there was enough.
I will say that, I don't think it will be, but maybe. I doubt it, though.
You know what is another really bad joke, too? And it wasn't so much them. When they get kicked out of Melissa McCarthy's high school...
College. The College of Science.
The College of Science, which is... when they put, wow, you guys are still a department? The Paranormal Activity...
I thought that was funny. I thought we terminated Department.
I thought that was funny.
Then
when he fires them, and he does the whole flipping them the bird, and then keeps like whistling and doing the bird and capture. That was like there's a lot of like you said excess where it's like you take the joke, you take the asshole character and then you just keep
run it into the ground.
Yeah.
That's the thing with modern comedies, where they just won't stop the joke. They think they got people rolling in the aisles, and they want to get them to keep going. But it's not. If they had just fired her, just said, "I thought we terminated Department years ago," and you guys, this is a real scientific institution. No, it isn't. You took because the previous one ran off with the money or something like that. I can't remember what happened. And just get out. And then that's enough. You don't need to make him that much of a cartoon character.
And this movie was very cartoony.
It was. And, the original ones had their moments of cartooniness. I think this one, it's over the top. Really my biggest problem with this movie is that it's just too much.
It's really not as bad as you think, though.
It's not
as bad as the trailers make it seem.
It is not the worst movie out there. It could have been a lot better.
It's not even the worst movie this summer I've seen.
Oh Lord, no! I
honestly think Batman vs Superman is up there. I mean, I don't care if you really wanted to see a live action version of Dark Knight Returns. It's not. It is a joyless Frank Miller love fest, and it upsets me to a great deal. And it's the plot is goofy. They try to mash too much together. And it is a great sequel to Man of Steel, which was another terrible comic book movie.
But in terms of just Ghostbusters, this was okay. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I think it probably is worth a rental. I don't know necessarily seeing it in theaters. But it could have been a lot worse too.
Cameos
were all good.
I thought they were. Some of them were better than others. Bill Murray has a way bigger cameo than probably everybody else.
Yeah, and I was actually expecting him to. That's the thing. They don't actually start up a business until I think the very, very end, where it's officially a thing. Sure, they get phone calls, but the originals really it was all about them starting up the business and making money and doing this as a regular day job. Versus this, where it's again the research group thing.
Yeah,
and as a result, what I thought was going to happen was that Murray's cameo, he would then give them the clout to start it up. Once he was like, he'd be on the ground outside, and he said, "Okay, you guys are real."
Oh, you see, that would have been worse if they'd done that. I think they said he died, which I think was hilarious that they finally got to kill Bill Murray in a Ghostbusters movie like he always wanted. He plays the William Atherton character actually, which is really funny. He plays the skeptic who's trying to debunk them. And he's really funny. And it's great just to see Bill Murray in it and anything. Hi, Merle.
Ghost Cat.
No, not Ghost Cat. Yes, I know. Here, do you want to wave to people? Okay, fine. She doesn't want to wave. All right.
Yeah, him playing the skeptic was good.
Yeah, so he was.
Yeah, William Atherton didn't make a cameo.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that William Atherton didn't make a cameo.
I'm not that surprised considering Ghostbusters has kind of been a real. He gets called dickless all the time as a result of that, and it's a sad thing because William Atherton
he plays villains.
He plays the asshole all the time. That's what he's good at.
He plays the asshole in Die Hard. He plays the asshole in Ghostbusters. He plays the asshole in Real Genius.
There you go. He played an asshole in an episode of Law and Order. I remember.
He plays the dick character.
He is really good at it. I don't know. There's something about him that's just really smug, or the way he delivers lines.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd's cameo was like 30 seconds long,
and I wish it was
such a shame
because he was really good. He was a taxi driver.
There was something weird about it though, because he comments about
it's a level 5 spectral intrusion, which I thought would mean that yeah, I read this book and holding up the book or something like that. Maybe that was deleted too.
Yeah, because he clearly knew something like hi, I'm Dan Aykroyd. I wrote the first Ghostbusters. I mean, there was that and then he says the I ain't afraid no ghosts.
Yeah,
but even his character was kind of a dick by the fact that he didn't want to give her a ride.
New York cab drivers.
No, I know it's fine, but he says the I don't, and then he's gone.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver's is in the credits cameo, which is she's really funny. She plays Holtzman's inspiration character.
She's my mentor.
Yeah, and that was funny. Annie Potts as the hotel clerk.
Oh my god,
she's probably the best cameo actually, next to Bill Murray.
Wait, you after that weirdo? Yeah, sure. Just take him out of here.
Yeah, and why don't you call somebody who cares? She's still playing the receptionist.
She's still playing Janine, which is again why I think this would have worked a lot better if it had been set in the same universe, because then we'd actually have like cameos from these characters, because she's just Janine.
Yeah. The post-credits scene is weird.
Yeah, basically the post-credit scene, they seem to be implying that if they're sequel baiting the next one to be Gozer.
Be Zool.
Yeah, well they say Zool, but the thing is Zool was a thing related to Gozer, which makes me wonder, like, okay, now if you were being clever about this, you would say it's the original Gozer and they just banished Gozer to this other universe.
Well, it's.
I mean, obviously you can't do a crossover at this point, but
it's interdimensional, whatever.
But it's iffy because I don't know if this is going to get a sequel. I mean, I think it'll make a lot of money. I don't know if it's going to get enough support from people to want a sequel to this, which makes me sad. You know what I would actually really like to see? I wouldn't mind seeing the animated series based off of this.
They're going to.
Oh, good.
They're doing an animated series. I don't know. I think it's going to be based off this. I feel like one of the things that wouldn't be a bad thing to do is as they get more established in this universe and as they're doing something more, they have some cast change-outs. Like, I actually, despite the fact that I thought Chris Hemsworth was really funny, I think if they become more successful, they get rid of Chris Hemsworth. Like, his character is a complete moron jerk.
Okay, that was another funny line. He finally started to know how to use the phones properly.
Yeah, but there was also the fact that like he tried to take credit and he tried to get in on the team.
Yeah.
He tried to shove him. So, like I said, he was not only was an idiot, he was a dick idiot. I understand that like he was even worse when he got possessed, but he was still kind of he was still.
I think he was just clueless. I think he was clueless. Is what
I think he was trying to shove in on there because it was all me. I went downstairs and pushed a bunch of buttons. And like he tried to like claim the success. I feel like
someone throwing him the sandwich back. That was a good subtle joke.
That joke I liked. But I feel like getting rid of his character if like they do a sequel to this would be good. I feel like if you wanted to recast any of the Ghostbusters or like get like have one of them is off, like if some of the actresses don't want to do it and they want to change out somebody, that would be okay. Actually, Melissa McCarthy would be okay to change out.
I thought Melissa McCarthy was fine in this. I don't mind any. I mean, I don't find Kristen Wiig all that funny. At least when she was.
Kristen Wiig wouldn't be a bad one to get rid of.
When she was on Saturday Night Live, I don't think any of these actresses were bad comedians in this movie. It's the writing, I think, which was
not
bad.
Holtzman though. You can't get rid of Holtzman.
Don't get rid of Holtzman. We like Holtzman,
but you can recast any of the other three.
I thought all of them.
Well, you could change it out. You know what I mean?
I understand. I understand that. Again, which franchise, Ghostbusters franchise, and you know what? That's another thing that's a ruined viral marketing thing they could have done with the movie. Any of you could be a Ghostbuster.
Well, you know what's funny is Ghostbusters 1. They talk about the franchising opportunity. When they're leaving the bank after getting the loan, Venkman says the franchising opportunity alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams. And so again, if you follow what the whole continuity is, that's why we have like all these fan film Ghostbusters things.
Why you have
like Chicago Ghostbusters, Minneapolis
Ghostbusters,
the Minneapolis Ghostbusters and things like that. And I think it's really cool that like that's it's in universe then.
But this one is they're a research group. It's different from that kind of thing. I kind of want I don't hate the movie, but any final thoughts? I don't hate the movie, but I don't. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. You might find it funnier than us. We don't like a lot of the humor in this. We didn't like. You might find it better.
It's meh. I mean, like I said, I don't. It was surprisingly better than I thought it would be. It's still not great.
I feel like it could have been great.
I feel like there was potential there. I feel like Lewis disagrees completely with me on this, but I feel like there was a lot of man-hating on this. Or at the very least, we're gonna take up the the girl power thing to the nth degree or whatever. And like I said, Lewis disagrees, and I understand, a lot of Hollywood is very anti-women, and they don't do a very good job. I think we've been getting better at that, though, and I think there's a lot of good movies that are examples of that. Fury Road is probably one of the best ones out there for the examples of this. I like to use a lot.
Force Awakens, Rey was really great.
Oh my God, Force Awakens, yes.
My God, the amount of people who were upset that we had that the main character of Rogue One is going to be a woman too. You have one, isn't that enough?
No, but the character of Rogue One looks awesome.
I wonder if she's going to become an Imperial. Like she decides to join up with the Imperial side or something like that. Because we never hear from her again, I don't think, in any of the other stuff.
She died too.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Many Bothans died. Can I say? Oh, sorry.
Bothans are apparently like cat creatures or something like that.
It was a throwaway line.
I know.
I actually think that's getting better, and I think this movie does a lot to kind of go the opposite way, to try to. I don't feel like it really emphasizes girl power. I feel like it tries to demonize men a little bit, and you disagree, I know, but I feel like killing you. Your ending boss fight, you shoot the monster in the dick.
Nobody ever does that in movies. I know. You feel it's a similar thing when I do a critique of a movie. It's one part of a larger critique, but honestly, that does not bother me in the slightest.
Fine.
Any other final thoughts?
You should go see it and form your own opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Because honestly, I'd be curious. Some people are going to hate it more. Some people are going to like it more.
Some people like this. A lot of this more. This kind of humor that we don't like. We're very much. We're for fans of much more of deadpan humor, or I don't necessarily deadpan. It just seems excess. Maybe you like the babbling. I hate that. But I don't think it was awful.
It certainly had its moments where it was funny. It certainly had its moments where it was like, yeah.
Yeah, there were.
But it also had a lot of moments where it was like, yeah.
Anytime they did a lineup and they were shooting the proton packs, those were actually really good. I like those.
Yeah, but I think like inherently those will be good anyways. Like I don't think it's. I think it's hard. It's hard to mess those up.
Hmm.
No, there was one place that messed it up when they're walking in the hotel and she slips on this line.
Yeah, which you know what they would have screwed it up more if they were having a bat. I mean, that was just them walking. Mm-hmm. If they had actually done like a lineup where she was at the end of the line and she slipped, that would have been too much.
What did you think of the Slimer's wife thing in Ecto 1?
I'm not sure about that, but then again, Slimer is already a cartoon.
Yeah, but he was Slimer joyriding in Ecto 1.
I love that. That was hilarious to me.
It was funny when he first steals the car, but the fact that they made it like a recurring thing and it was part of a plot point got kind of weird.
I wish they had established the nuclear top of Ecto 1 earlier.
Yeah, that was
another storytelling
for
gaffe.
Spoilers, instead of crossing the streams in this one, what they do is they blow up Ecto 1, and apparently Ecto 1's got a nuclear reactor on it or something like that, and that's how they're going to cause the protonic reversal, which is like, oh my god, total protonic reversal.
It's technobabble.
Yeah, but it was good when it was done in Ghostbusters 1. It's bad when you reuse it.
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Done over and
over again. And it's bad when you do. And you know what? You could say that it was done over and over and over again, but then when they do it in the David Tennant episode of Doctor Who, when he makes the line, he jokes about the fact that it means nothing, and he does it just to make people feel better. Or if
you build on the joke as opposed to just referencing it. Which in this case is, we're not reversing the polarity, we're confusing the polarity.
Yeah, like I said, like that's where it's funny. But then when you just say, "Oh, we're going to do the same," it's the
if
same.
You just repeat
it's the
same thing.
Protonic reversal, despite the fact that you got it a completely different way. You're blowing up the car instead of crossing the streams, and yeah.
Those are our final thoughts. That was Ghostbusters.
What do you think of I was going to ask you. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Fall Out Boy song. The Fall Out Boy.
That was stuck in the middle, and
it wasn't so bad. I didn't think it was bad as when I first heard it on the internet. It was bad.
I haven't actually heard it on the internet yet, but I imagine I wouldn't like that in full. But they used the original Ghostbusters theme at the very beginning. That was good. They used
parts of it here and there.
And I think the parts where they used it here and there were actually really good.
The Fall Out Boy. They only used the Fall Out Boy song once, and they use it
during a rock concert.
No, they use it when they're driving to the rock concert.
Yeah,
they use it. They use it when they first roll out Ecto 1 after the hearse has been converted into Ecto 1, and they're driving to the concert, and they play it just while they're driving, and it's not so bad. Like, I thought I was going to hate it a lot more, and honestly, I hate the song. I think it's really bad, and I like Fall Out Boy, but that was a really bad rendition. But it's not so bad the way they use it in the drive-by. It's pretty quick, and it was okay. It
was okay, but I was like, oh, so this is what people are talking about. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard worse I don't think I've heard worse versions. Actually, there was a punk cover of Ghostbusters, I think, from a few years ago. I think it's on my MP3 server.
I think so, too.
That was okay.
Yeah.
I like the fact they did use the original theme just for the opening sequence.
Yeah. I'm really excited for Star Trek Beyond.
I'm hoping for good things for that, but I hate the fact that Paramount has not really been pushing the 50th anniversary.
No, they're too busy suing Axanar.
And then creating fan film guidelines that make it that seem utterly ridiculous.
If anyone from Paramount or CBS is watching,
just hire them. Just
buy them.
Buy them.
Buy Axanar.
Make the money off of it, because it's the difference between making zero money or wasting money
or drop it entirely. Hating on your fans is not cool. Drop it entirely.
Just buy them. Release it yourselves. That way you're getting the money, we're getting the product, they're getting some money, everybody's happy. So anyway.
And Axanar, if they make you an offer that's reasonable, take it. Don't be dicks. If they make you enough money to sell, just take it, because quite frankly, you did a great job. You deserve to get bought. And I'm not going to hate on Star Trek Beyond because first off, the Axanar guys like Abrams. Because Abrams tried to get it.
Abrams tried to fix this, yeah.
Yeah, despite the fact that he completely ad-libbed it. Abrams is trying to get the Axanar thing lifted. They don't have a thing with problem with Justin Lin or Justin Long or whatever his name is.
I can't remember his name.
The director, the Fast and the Furious director, who's doing this one.
Which is funny considering I've watched now like three of the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm going to be watching more of them over the next few months.
I'm absolutely fine with Star Trek Beyond. I'm a little bit annoyed by the CBS All Access series. I'm not sure if I want to give CBS money if they're going to keep suing Axanar. But I feel like Abrams and the Chris Pine track I'm more okay with, especially given the fact that the Axanar guys say don't boycott it.
I'm hopeful the series will be good. I'm hoping the movie will be good. I don't know if it will be. Fingers crossed.
I will say this: I'm still looking more forward to that than I was Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters does not rank as my worst summer movie this year. I haven't seen Turtles.
I've heard really bad
or
things
Independence
about Turtles.
Day. But
and Independence Day, I heard, was supposed to be just... I want to see Independence Day. It was exactly what you expected it to be.
But Batman v Superman was probably the worst. Civil War probably being the best.
All right, I think that's it from us. Go see it. Make your own opinions.